We always called Tweet Mother because we would refer to Tweet as she a lot at the time. Then Tweet was perfectly cool with that, and he kind of knew that that was his role, and you got the sense that he really wanted to take care of you, but at the same time a completely dry, sarcastic person. We went back and forth so many times. Just the inside jokes and sayings and catchphrases got repeated.
Around like 8 o'clock maybe, he would come padding out into the kitchen in like these like house shoes that he had. And he had the long stocking cap that he wore. He'd like get out something to make for supper, like a can of soup or something. And he'd make his supper, not really talk to anyone. And I would just hover around and be like, "It's Tweet, I'm hanging out with Tweet, Tweet is fun." And he would just be like making his supper. And then he would go to sit at the table, the reading glasses, and he would have a magazine, and he would just be like eating his soup, reading something at the table. "Poppy, not now, it's dinner time." And you know, I'm trying to monkey with him, but...
It sounds like we lived in a place that was non-stop laughs and busting each other's balls. But there was a lot of respect, and I think he felt the same way about, you know, everybody he lived with.
I don't know, he and Steele were always at each other's throats, in a sense, but they both really enjoyed it, I think, which I didn't realize for a long time, how much, like, camaraderie was actually there.
I definitely had the utmost respect for Tweet. I saw the way he lived, and I took a lot from that.
For me and Tweet, it was sports. I mean, he was a big Philadelphia Flyer fan, and then one day I found out he was a Dallas Cowboy fan, and of course I'm an Eagle fan, and these two, you know, this becomes war. And we had a war going for 15 years, every Monday morning, depending on how the teams did. And, you know, he used to leave, if the Dallas Cowboys won and the Eagles lost, I'd have under my windshield wiper, you know, the score of the game. And on my front door of the store would be, "How about them Cowboys?" or something like that. When it was reversed, I would really harass him in front of the whole coffee shop full of people.
We recently had a birthday party for Robin, and Tweet brought a tiramisu, which was pretty amazing. He was having a good time. In fact, he taught the kids how to play croquet. He was having a lot of fun here. Later on in the evening, he had drifted off to sleep in his chair. And then he was very peacefully sleeping, actually, and then somebody woke him up. I don't know who that was, but if you're watching this video now, you probably shouldn't have woken him up. That little nap must have revived him, because he was back in full swing again. Somebody had called here asking to speak with Tweet, or the phone rang or something, but in any case, he was he was on our phone, and the idea was he was supposed to leave a message. Something about having to leave a message on the telephone really set him off, and he smashed our cordless phone into the tiramisu cake, and then the tiramisu cake into, I think, like a pumpkin spice cake that my sister had brought, and then he was smashing it all together like that, and talking about how much he hated phones. Jen Impink came up to me and just very matter-of-factly said he just doesn't like when people are on the cell phone in line at the Uptown. You know, he's a really good chef, and he shouldn't have to deal with that, and that's why he's doing it. This was like, you know, a perfectly fine thing, but it was really quite funny. Tweet felt so bad about that incident, he wouldn't let me pay for anything in the Uptown for the rest of the week.
Well, I remember I was dressed as a woman as well, which was not that uncommon for me. Tweet was dressed as a woman. Everybody was saying, "Oh, Mike, you look pretty hot as a girl." And they said to Tweet, "You look like Mike's aunt, or Mike's great aunt."
It's a little known fact that Tweet had a secret vice, and it was known as Yakko's hot dogs. It was often said that his favorite hangover medication was 3 Yakko's hot dogs and a pint of chocolate milk. A friend of mine at one point had dared me to try to attempt 20 hot dogs, and I told Tweet about this dare, and he told me he believed that I could probably do it. And so one day after work, he and I decided we would go for a training session, and we went to Yakko's, and we each got 3 hot dogs. He got a pint of chocolate milk, and I got a bottle of water. and we ate them, and we were both surprised at how fast we ate them. They were gone in just a couple seconds. So we had to go through and get another round, and each of us ate 3 more. And of all of the wonderful food that he cooked and all of the wonderful places he's eaten, Yako's was his favorite.
At our wedding, Tweet actually was the reason why we decided. It was kind of like the final moment where it was time for everybody to go home, because we were starting to kind of usher people out of there, and the music was still going and people were still having a really good time. And all of a sudden, Tweet, who had been thoroughly enjoying himself all day, fell over, and he was sitting next to all the recording stuff, so he took it all down with him. And he was just laying on the floor. He was fine, but he just had a little too much to drink. And all that was it, and then everybody realized it was time to go home.
One of the most interesting Tweet stories to me is Mark recounting the tale of actually how he died, which is stumbling out of his room with a wig on and causing everybody fits of laughter and having the time of his life, to the point that he collapsed on the floor. And I think of that as like the last great lesson we can learn from Tweet, and that is live among friends and laugh a lot and die happy.
I know everybody would say this, but I'll miss him.
It was a gift, definitely, to have known him.
If we could all go knowing that we had as many people that would miss us as obviously miss this man, you could say that you had a good life.
He was the supreme chef at the Uptown Esspresso Bar. He made the best soup in the world.